What's going on, my eaters? This your boy Chef Drew, aka Big Drew, aka Chef. In this video, we're fitting to continue from the last video where we talked about the team and the importance of the team. In this video, now we're gonna get a little more practical with it and talk about how do you build your team. So before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe, do all the things so we can keep bringing this content to you every single Monday morning. So how do you find your team? I wrote down here, I got 5 little bullet points that I'll address, and hopefully that does something for you. So in finding your team, the first thing that I thought about was listening to people talk. Y'all, you will be amazed at how much you can learn or what doors will open just by being aware of your surroundings and just listening or watching. Now it helps. I don't know if any of you are like this, but y'all, I'm nosy. I'm a people watcher. I like being in people's business. So it kind of helps me out a little bit. I might not talk about your business, but just believe if I'm around, I'm listening and watching and trying to see what's going on. In doing that, always amazes me time and time again, just by listening and being in the right place at the right time, the doors that have opened up for me. This kitchen we're in right now came from me just sharing with somebody, oh, you know, I know somebody X, Y, and Z, and then boom, I'm in this kitchen that I was looking for a long, long time. The other way you find team members is through referrals. Not just listening, but just through talking to people and letting them know where you're at, what you're doing, what you're looking for. The people you know, the people you come in contact with, just like I just told you about this kitchen, they will refer people to you. If you're looking for an accountant, if you're looking for a social media guy, if you're looking for whatever, people will refer them. So just communicate with people and, you know, talk to them and let people know what you're doing. Don't be scared of people knowing your idea, because here's the fact of the matter. Most times, whatever the idea is, people are not willing to do the work that it takes to execute, and closed mouths don't get fed. So share with people what you're doing, what you're going on. You'll be amazed at the referrals that come. Sometimes your team members will find you. Sometimes people will be watching you from afar, watching you from a distance. Sometimes people will be looking for you, and then you find out, you know, some guy is looking for a chef and he's an accountant. He wants to start a new restaurant, and you're looking for an accountant because you're in the food business already. And next thing you know, y'all get to talking, you find out that you need each other. Your team can find you as well. Family and core relationships. Y'all listen, I stand on this. For my team, I do have people who are advisors and who are just more role specific, but my core team are my family and my loved ones. The people who are my cheerleaders, the people who I can call in a clutch, a lot of times they're the people who are right around you, willing to help you out. One of my key team members, she's a market ambassador for me with my other business, Pinks. She handles our farmers markets with us. She was actually my kids' daycare teacher, then my babysitter and daycare teacher. And now she works for us with the markets and the business, and she watches my kids sometimes. As a babysitter, she's no longer our daycare teacher, but key family members and relationships, it'll be amazing what you already have at your disposal. For me, it's great. My sister is also my attorney. So again, she's filling a role that I definitely need, but I will tell you, it is great to have your sister be your attorney for multiple reasons. So for anybody who reaches out to us one day, just know whatever my sister says when she looks at the paperwork, I'm going with what she says. We're not playing. I don't play with that part of my team at all. But yeah, your people and your core relationships. And you know what? Let me speak to that as well. This myth as well. There's a lot of people that say family members and friends cannot or should not work together. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. I do believe it can be tricky. I do believe it can be horrible. I'm speaking from personal experiences, but greater than those things, I do believe it's possible. It's especially possible when you have a good attorney and you come up with, you speak to your friend, you speak to your family member, there's a clear delineation of roles and responsibilities, and everyone stays in that lane. Like for me in my business, Gwen is the organizer and the task manager. I'm the creative and I'm the chef and I make stuff taste good. I don't ever try and be the task manager. It's not my strength. I let her have it. She will always have it. My sister, she's my attorney. She's great at attorneying. I will never try and tell her how to do her job. She has proven at this point that her knowledge and her wisdom and her abilities are good and sound. And so I stay in my lane and let people stay and do their thing. Also, just good communication. When you're working with your family members and close friends and relatives, you want to make sure that communication is often and it's clear. And lastly, and I kind of touched on this already, family members, when it comes to business, no matter what, whether it's a family member, a friend or not, there should be contract, there should be paperwork, just to help serve as accountability and boundaries and to clearly write out what the roles are for everybody and what everyone is going to receive for said roles. For me, the last thing I want to tell you guys about is cold calling. There's a billionaire entrepreneur I follow sometimes. His name is Dan Pena. Now he's old school, he can be brash and harsh, but his knowledge and wisdom are impeccable. And when asked over and over and over again, Dan Pena, who's definitely a multi-millionaire, maybe even a billionaire at this point, I can't remember, when you ask him what he attributes to be as reasons for success, he says cold calling. What's cold calling? Some people don't even know what that is anymore. But cold calling is simply put the art of having a conversation, the art of genuinely picking up the phone or knocking on a door or going into a business and asking for and talking about what you're looking for and what you're needing. This can be very uncomfortable. To pick up a phone to a stranger or somebody you don't know or somebody who may be a little further advanced than you are in your career, it can be very uncomfortable, but I can tell y'all, the amount of times that I have sent somebody a random email just by Googling or hit somebody up, slid in their DMs on some kind of social platform and gotten a response is mind-boggling. My business partner who I spoke about earlier, I knew who he was, but we weren't working together. The way we became business partners, one day I needed help on a project. I just put on my personal social media page, hey, does anyone have experience PowerPoint presentations is what it was. I needed help making a PowerPoint presentation. Out of nowhere, he responded. He said, hey, I'll help you. I never saw it coming. I actually, in that moment, didn't even respond and take the help. Fast forward a couple months later, I was in a position when I still needed that same help. I reached out to him, and long story short, y'all, after some time together and working together, he helped me with that presentation and several others. Next thing we know, he believed in the jockey, not the horse. He believed in the vision, what we were doing. And he said, hey, I asked him and he said, hey, I want to get involved. And we're business partners now and have been and will be. And that was years ago. So really, really, really don't be afraid to send an email, to just walk up to somebody, to make a phone call, to drop into somebody's DM or tag them or mention them. It will blow your mind. Take the risk. It'll blow your mind what will come from it. In closing, I'm also going to say this. In developing your team and building your team, one requirement for anyone to be a part of my team and should be a requirement for anyone to be a part of your team is they have to believe in the culture that you are trying to build and implement in your business. Your team members have to believe in what you're doing. What's that mean when I say the culture? Meaning, let's think about some of the big brands that we know. Let's call Disney World. Disney World's tagline forever has been the happiest place on earth. I know for a fact that at Disney, when you get a job at Disney, they require you to sign a contract or to state essentially that you're gonna be happy at work. No matter what's going on at life, when you come to work for this company, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna put on that game face. If you're not willing to be happy at work, you're not gonna work for that company. That doesn't make you a bad person. That just means you might be better suited somewhere else. When I was talking to Aziz Hashim years ago, he told me, one thing is for true, Drew. The culture, he said, it's taken me 20 years, but I have finally gotten a team that I really, really have been looking for and trying to put together. And he said, one of the reasons that we are so successful is because everyone has bought into my culture. He said, if you hire somebody and they don't believe in your culture, the culture you're trying to establish, they're not the right fit. And that means you need to part ways. He said, there have been plenty of people that were great people, great employees that I had to let go because they didn't fit the culture for what I was doing. Some of them, he helped try and get other jobs, but for what he was doing, it was not working. So at the end of the day, I've told you now the importance of the team. I've told you now how to build your team and where to go and where to look for your team and to be patient with that. The underlying theme of all that is make sure you're setting a culture for your business and do not compromise it for anyone at any time. Y'all, you know we always want to educate you, we always want to excite you, and we always want to empower you. We look forward to seeing you again next week. And always, always, always like, subscribe, share. Help us keep this content coming to you. Y'all take care.